My name is Blitzwinger, and we are back at it again for a brand new Blitzwinger Roast to your Lego design. So today we're going to go on ahead and see what kind of submissions you guys have in store for me to go on ahead and rank. Of course, don't forget, guys, if you do enjoy today's video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, turn on your notifications. You guys know the drill. And of course, in addition to that, I do want to mention, if you want to submit your own design, stick around. At the end of the video, I will explain how you can do so. With all that being said, let's rock and roll. Let's not waste any time, and let's dive in to some Lego Custom. Who submits? And another Invincible character. So we got Omni-Man last week, which was very, very cool. And then this week, as you can see, we got Red Rush from Invincible, which is very cool to see how many people are actually now becoming fans of Invincible. By the way, if you didn't know, Amazon officially announced that they're going to be doing seasons 2 and 3. So that is spectacular, considering it is one of, if not my favorite comic book series of all time. If you've never read the comic book, if you like the show, by the way, check out the comic, because the comic is way, way better. I hate to be that person who's like, oh, check out the book, but I legitimately believe that the comic is at least twice as good as the show. So check it out. But regardless, let's stay on track. Here we have the character of Red Rush. And I gotta say, it's pretty accurate, especially considering the costume doesn't have a whole lot going on. It's a pretty uniform design. And so because of that, we're gonna kick things off with a nice generous rating, an 8 out of 10 for you. Congratulations. Let's rock and roll. Design number 2, let's see what we got. Okay, so design number 2, we've got Adam Eve, also from Invincible, also submitted by Gunny JH, and this one's pretty accurate as well. Dang it, guys, you gotta do worse. Seriously, we need some cheesy looking designs as well as some good ones. So, because this is making it difficult. I can't keep the title roast. There's nothing to roast here aside from your photo taking abilities, which I just don't understand how we are in 2021, how you have a console but you can't figure out how to take a screenshot instead of taking a picture of the screen that looks super duper pixelated, and then I have to keep processing on my end to make it look more presentable. But regardless, aside from that roast, I actually think that this design looks better than the last one. It actually looks a lot more like the character you're going for of Eve. And because of that, I'm going to give this one an 8.5. Congratulations. You got that 8.5. Let's rock and roll. Design number 3. What you got for me? Okay. That's a pretty solid take on Hawkeye. So we've got a submission from Flaming Stall, S-T-A-L, and this is Hawkeye as he's seen in Earth's, or Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. At least I think that's what that costume is. Maybe he wore that in another cartoon series, but that is a very, very, very cool take on the character. I think you knocked it out of the park with this one. Dang it! Man, I like how you used the horns helmet to emulate that like mask that he has. That's pretty clever, actually. I've never thought to do that. It'd be really cool to try to do a Wolverine design that way and see if it actually works. But regardless, very clever use of that particular piece. Good use of the colors as well. I like that you've got the bow and arrow going. That looks pretty sweet. Maybe I would have tried to go, instead of the dark blue, go with the purple just to see how that would look. But aside from that, I love that you even captured the detail of like one arm is a different design than the other. So you have that asymmetrical pattern going. So very, very good attention to detail. So I'm going to have to give you, I think I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10 as well, because it's really, really good. Aside from maybe, you know what? A 9 out of 10, because aside from the colors, I legit don't think that there's anything else that you could have changed. So really, really, really nicely done. One of the best designs we've ever seen to date. So good on ya, Flaming Stall. Okay, another submission from Flaming Stall, and this one is Arkham Knight Scarecrow. Now, I gotta tell you, it's not very accurate, but considering how complicated of a look that character has, this is definitely not bad. It's relatively close. I like a lot of the elements that you did manage to capture. It definitely, like, if you told somebody like, hey, here's my attempt at Arkham Knight Scarecrow, I don't think that they would look at that and say like, that looks nothing like it. So I think you're at least on the right track. Now, with that in mind, there is a lot here that is inaccurate, right? Like, I feel like you needed to figure out a way to include more of the orange in the design if it was possible. I think you did some of that. I think you do have the orange on the right arm there, so that's kind of clever. And I think you actually use a different arm design, so that's cool. The face kind of works, although I would have attempted to use the regular Scarecrow print and maybe go with like dark gray on that print and see how that would look, because I think it would probably look pretty cool too. Not bad, solid effort. I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10 just because there's a lot there to criticize, but I also know how difficult a character like this is to build, so I'm not trying to like go after the design because I understand how difficult it is, but I also think that there's a lot of inaccuracies and things that could have been adjusted to make it look a bit better. But regardless, definitely a pretty good effort. So GG, Flaming Stall. All right, so next up, we've got a submission from Mr. Mank Dank, I think is how you say that. And this is Killer Moth. And I gotta say, you did a pretty good job. This is very, very accurate, shockingly so. Just because I honestly, first of all, kind of am surprised by the fact that this character is not in the game, considering the fact that he did appear and was kind of a prominent character in Lego Batman 1 and 2. So it is odd that in Lego DC Supervillains, he's just kind of forgotten. So that's a bit of a lame decision. But regardless, you did fix that problem with putting together a pretty stellar take on Killer Moth. I think that you chose the wrong wings. I don't remember if the butterfly wings are possible to recolor. If they are, you should have used those ones, because I think that it would look more accurate, because he does have that kind of butterfly design for the wings, not just like one pattern. So that's something that I would critique. I don't think that the pistol colors or like the weapon colors are correct. You can even see in the image that you referenced, they are supposed to be kind of gray. So I would have changed that. And I can't quite tell because of the angle of the image, but I'm going to assume that the gloves and the arms are purple and orange, just because it's a little bit difficult to tell from this angle. It almost looks like they might not be the right colors, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that they are correct. Aside from that, great use of the Firefly helmet. That's very, very clever. Just repainting in that lime green works super well. So I'm going to give you an 8, an 8.5 out of 10. GG. All right, next up, we've got another submission from Mr. Mank Dank, and this one is the Prankster, a Superman villain. Now, I gotta tell you, this is definitely like, you know, when you're like searching for like, oh, what character should I build? When you go way down to the bottom of the barrel and you're scraping the very bottom of the barrel, that's where you'll find the Prankster. Who the heck is the Prankster, huh? No. I gotta tell you, I'd never heard of the Prankster, ever. And I've read thousands of comics. Who's the Prankster? I don't know. Looks like some sort of Stan Lee slash, I guess maybe Riddler ripoff. I don't know. A very generic looking character, but I can't criticize your build. That's what I'm here to do. The build is pretty darn accurate. It looks very accurate. You got the mustache, you got the hairstyle, you got the right color for the entire costume. So with all that being said, the fact that it's a completely unknown character, I'm still gonna give this one a 9 out of 10, or actually I don't even know, like I think maybe I gotta go even higher than that. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, but legitimately there's not much to criticize aside from maybe the missing flower and the fact that this is such a, just like, who is this? Like, who is the Prankster? I don't know. If you know, let me know in the comment section below. And also don't forget, guys, if you're following along, you can also leave your ratings down below for these designs as well. Okay, so next up, we're headed to Pokemon country. Well, kind of. Blaziken11025 sends in a submission for Classic Rogue, which looks to be taken in the most green environment possible. Just a word of advice in general, if you want to take a picture of something, maybe don't take a picture of a character that's mostly green in front of a glowing green background, because then it's impossible to tell the details on the character, because literally it all looks like it's got like a green tint over top of the character. So please, when you take an image, keep that in mind so that then we can actually critique the design. Now, with that out of the way, looks pretty darn accurate. You've got kind of that jacket design that she had with the shirt. Does that make sense? Short shirt. Say that quickly 5 times. That's a big moment. But aside from that, I'm not really sure what's going on with what looks like double belts. Like, it looks like she's got one belt on the hip and then another belt on the torso. So I'm not sure. Like, she's just like, hey, I don't have enough utility belts. I gotta have double the utility belts. Not sure what's going on there. And I'm pretty sure, doesn't she have like an effect particle that comes off when she uses her powers? I think that's the case. So you could have maybe included that as an additional detail, because I do think that this is Lego DC supervillains that you're using to build this. So yeah, so that's another critique. Aside from that, GG, looks pretty good. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And even that is being generous, considering that it's all just a big green hue where we can't even tell what the colors are. And we just have to kind of guesstimate that they are what they seem like in the image. Oh, good googly moogly. Okay. I gotta take back the critique for the last one. Now this is a pretty sick looking design, submitted still by Blaziken 11025. This is CW's Frost, and that looks spectacular. Like, legit, that looks like it could be an official release. So I gotta immediately slap this one with a 9.5 out of 10. That is spectacular. Really, like, no criticisms from me. I think it looks pretty darn accurate. If you've got a critique, let me know down in the comment section below. But you knocked it out of the park. You lined it up. Boom! And it's out of here. GG. All right, so next up, we're gonna have to do some yoga poses to look at this image. But I just wanted to make a point, because this is how some people will submit their images. It's like taking, like, literally the picture sideways, upside down. Why would you submit the image that way? Huh? All right, so with the image flipped and properly adjusted, here we have comic book Nick Fury, or I guess classic comic book Nick Fury, because Nick Fury actually does look like he does in the MCU now. So this is a different take on Nick Fury, an earlier take from Brick Star Wars Boy. Gotta tell you, pretty darn accurate. I like how you've got the gray on the sides, the darker hair color up top. The eye patch, of course, is present. You got the dual wielding blasters and that classic blue and white / gray costume. Pretty solid entry, aside from the image being improperly submitted. I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Really nothing to critique about it. Pretty darn accurate. GG, well played. Next up, submission number 2 from Brick Star Wars Boy. Yes, this one was also submitted like that, but with it all being transformed and adjusted, here we have the 1989 Joker. So this is, of course, from the 1989 Batman movie. And I gotta tell you, you did a pretty darn good job with this one. Like, it's a very, very accurate rendition to that design. Overall, good use of the existing Joker parts in the game to make something that looks a lot more accurate to a specific movie design. So I think that that's pretty stellar. Again, not much to criticize here. I'm gonna give this one another 9 out of 10, just because I really don't see anything that is inaccurate or needs to be immediately addressed. So because of that, another 9 out of 10, back-to-back 9s. Nicely done. Pretty easy, but also very, very well done designs. All right, so next up, we've got a design from Justin Tablelake, and he himself titles this one an alternate universe Hawkman. Well, sure. Looks cool. The problem is I don't really want to be doing a lot of ranking of designs like this, because I have no idea what alternate universe Hawkman is. And so because of that, you can just design it to whatever look you want it to look like. So there's really not much to criticize. Like, does it look cool? Sure. But it's not based on anything. So because of that, I have a tough time being able to be like, oh, well, this is inaccurate or that's inaccurate. It's accurate. You put a Hawkman helmet, you give him some wings, you give him the club that he's known for. It's Hawkman. So I don't even know what to give this one as far as a rating. I'll give it 9 out of 10. It looks cool. I like the color combination. The white and the gold looks very cool, but kind of don't want to be doing these kind of designs going forward. So let's see what's next. Go. And next up, we have an alternate universe Dr. Fate. Again, cool, but I don't know how I'm supposed to evaluate these. Like, it's a cool looking design. I can't, it's so like, this would become so subjective where I would immediately have to be like, okay, well, I think it looks kind of cool, And I can't really critique anything about it because it's your own idea. So I have no idea what the take is supposed to be based on. It's not like it's like, oh, well, it's this particular Dr. Fate from this particular storyline. There's nothing for me to compare it to. So I'll give this one a 9 out of 10 as well. Cool. Alrighty, Roo, ladies and gents, here is Old Man Hawkeye. Now that's more like it. This I can actually go on ahead and critique. Also, excellent submission from you, going on ahead and providing the nameplate, going on ahead and comparing the image which you tried to actually recreate. So good on you. Thank you so very much for that clarification. So it looks like you specifically went for Old Man Hawkeye from Marvel's Avengers, not the Old Man Hawkeye comic book, which I think would have to look a little bit differently. Now, it is interesting because you're using Lego Marvel's Superheroes 2. I know you have more limitations. That's why it's unfortunate that you don't have the glasses, because obviously that's a pretty crucial component of the character, especially because if you apply it to Old Man Hawkeye in the comics, there's more significance to why he has the glasses on. But as far as what is here, pretty accurate still. I can't really criticize too much, particularly because I know which customizer you're using, so that's going to kind of cloud my judgment here. I think that you could do a better job with this character design if you built it in Lego DC Supervillains. So if you have that game, attempt to build this character there, because I think you could actually do a much better job than what you did here. Now, with that in mind though, I still am going to go on ahead and give this one maybe like a 7 out of 10, just because there is some stuff. It's such a basic design that the things that are lacking are definitely knocking at a few points below. Like the sleeve should be pulled up, like the gloves are the wrong color, like the glass is missing, like the pants should probably be a darker gray than what you chose. So all of that together gives you a 7 out of 10. Now for our last design of the day. It is a pretty stellar entry, and it is the one and only Batman. The one and only Batman, recreated in Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, which of course is a pretty cool addition because it's a Lego Marvel game. It's cool to be able to bring in a Batman design into that game. So there's a little bit of context for you. Now, with that in mind, I do think that this is one of the better designs I've ever seen for Batman. It definitely looks more like a movie Batman just because of all the details and stuff. Of course, there's no way for you to actually have the Bat logo on the chest. Now, it's kind of impossible to ignore the fact that that detail is missing, so it can't get like a perfect grade. I also don't know if I would use those leg pieces for this, but again, for this kind of more like almost like military tactical Batman, almost like Batfleck kind of is what I'm thinking of. I think you actually did do a pretty good job. I like the face, and the head plate looks cool and works for Batman. So I'm going to give this one an 7.5 out of 10. I think that's a pretty fair rating. That's what we're gonna leave off on. Now, before we wrap it up, guys, I do want to go on ahead and mention once again, if you want to submit your own designs, there's a link in the description for the Blitzwinger Discord. Join the Discord, and on the Discord, you can go on ahead and go to the channel titled Lego Custom Submissions. Leave your submission there. Make sure you're following the instructions that I've set out before. If you submit an image that looks like it was taken by a phone from like 1952, yes, I'm aware of the fact that there were no cell phones back then, but I'm just trying to make a point here that please be aware of the resolution at which you're submitting the image at. At this point in time, if you've got a console, there's a way to always screenshot the screen from the console system itself. So even if you don't have a phone, you should be able to go on ahead, or a good phone, you should be able to still screenshot the screen to get a clean image of the character. Again, if you wanted to leave your submissions for a future roast, you can do so on there. In addition to that, of course, guys, don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications by ringing the bell button, hit that thumbs up button if you guys enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to support the channel beyond that, you can become a member, as well as pick up some Blitzwinger merch. Thank you so very much for your support. Much appreciated. I'll hopefully catch you guys here next time. Peace out. See you later, alligators.